All right. This recording day, so if you see the same outfit, then you already know what time it is. So get your drink, get your snack, get all your shit, get your herbal essence, get all that stuff done, and stay tuned for this story time. Because we here to gossip about your girl.
Know what I'm talking about, babe? Yeah. Now it's time for me.
So guys, if you're here, then you want to hear the story about how I got fired for having 2 accidents at work. I'm gonna tell y'all this story because my boyfriend always be like, you need to tell that story. You need to tell that story. How you got your CDL, how you did all this. Okay. If you don't know, which I know y'all don't know. Y'all don't know. Y'all learning. You learning about me. You learning. So I'm about to tell y'all. I know. I don't even look like I drive anything like that. But I do. I had my license to drive. I had my CDL license, which is a commercial driver's license, class B. I don't have an A. I have a B. So I could drive like buses, school buses. I could drive metro buses. I could drive straight trucks. Right now I drive a straight truck, a box truck, a 32-foot box truck, the big one. I drive that. I've been driving for 16 years, about to be 17 years next month in July. It'll be 17 years that I've been having my license. I got my license at 22. I just want to give y'all a little backstory about it. So I got my license, right? And this is when I first got my license. I went from, and I'm going to tell y'all why I did this, because this, and I don't know when I'm going to tell it. I might tell the story like later down the road line, but y'all gonna, I wish I should tell a story before this story so that it can just go coincide, but my boyfriend said that's telling too much, so I don't think I'm gonna tell y'all this story yet. But okay, so I got my license, right? And I used to work at a retail store, and I was making good money, but I wasn't making, hold on.
Few moments later.
Right, I got some more Patron. So we're gonna take a shot before I tell this story. Let me take a shot before I tell this story. So we're gonna take a shot of this in my little thing. I'll take a shot. Okay, because I like my stuff cold. Okay, we're gonna take a shot of Patron. We got the line. I'm out of breath and shit because I had to go downstairs. Okay, guys, we're gonna say cheers to another 1,000 subscribers. We're on the road to 2K. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel, do all that good stuff. You ain't got your drink and snack and do all that good stuff. You need to go and get it and take the shot with your girl, or take your drink of juice or whatever it is you're doing, and let's go. Cheers. Period. All right, let's continue on to the story. So I used to work at a retail store, and I made decent money, but I wanted to make more money. So I was making like 13 at the retail store, and this was like 2005. I worked at a retail store. I made good money at that time. 2005, making $13. That was pretty good. It wasn't bad. I wanted to make more money. So I had seen an ad in the paper, and it was like, Metro is hiring drivers. You would start getting paid $17 and some change. I was like, shit, that's a whole jump of money. So they were like, no experience needed. We'll train, da-da-da. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna try to do it. So I fill out my application online, fill out the application. I get called for an interview. I do the interview, and it's a 5-panel interview. I had to do 2 interviews. I did the 2 interviews, and I got through to the next part. The next part was, the lady was like, okay, you're a good candidate. We like you. We want to train you, whatever we gotta do. But she was like, in order for you to go to the next phase, which is the training, she's like, you gotta get your permit. So I was like, okay. So she was like, you need to take these 5 tests, take the 5 tests, Once you pass the test, you let me know, and then we will do the next steps, which is you to start your process of getting hired on. I'm like, all right. So I go through the process of taking the test. I study. The first time I did it, I took all 5. This is the worst mistake ever. Don't ever do this. And now, how it is now, it is completely different to get your CDL now than when I got it way back in 05. It's not the same. But I took all 5 tests in one day. That's the worst thing you could ever do, because that's too much information to try to remember and then try to take all at one time. I was young. I was 22. I was excited. I wanted to get this shit done. And I'm the type of person where I'm determined to do something. Like when I have a goal and I want to succeed with that goal, I go hard to get that shit done. I was determined to do what I had to do to get this job. I didn't give a fuck what was going on. I didn't even tell nobody, because I'm so private. That's what's crazy, that I do these stories, because a lot of stuff that I don't tell people stuff. Like, only people that know like certain things about me is like my spouse or like my best friends. And some stuff I don't even tell my best friends. I'm like really private. So so let me go on, keep going. So I didn't tell anybody about me getting this job or whatever. I just got the job. And when I was like, once I get the job, I'll let everybody know that I got the job or whatever. So I take the test. I failed the test. So the lady at the DPS office, she was like, you need to take each test one time at a time. She was like, you need to take one test and then study, take the next test, do it like that. She was like, and then you'll pass. So that's what I did, and I passed the test. Got the job. Started my training. Do all the class shit. Started the driving. I'm driving, whatever. And then go to the next part, which is right before you get to pick your route. They put you with those people that's doing those routes so that you can learn the routes. And then if you want to do the bidding when bid time come or whatever, you could pick like a route or whatever. So you be familiar with like all of the routes at the garage that you're going to work at. Because I told y'all I work for Metro. That's how I got my license. Okay. So one day, and this day, whoo, child. Well, man, I'm trying to remember, because I know what I did. Okay, first incident, because I had 2 incidents, and they have a zero tolerance for like these accidents, but they gave me 2 chances, and then they were like, nah, bitch, you got to go. So first incident I had, I was doing this route, and it was a big manhole. It wasn't a manhole. It was a big hole. Like the ground, like either trucks was like fucking, you know how like trucks will be riding on the road and like they'll make like a big pothole in the road, and then the more people driving on it, the worse it get. Okay, so where I was driving to, it was like a transit. So like all the buses come there and they pick up people driving. I did this route the whole day. I passed up that hole the whole day. All day I was going over that hole. This hole was so big and deep, and it had a metal rod sticking out of it. A metal rod. I drove over like around that hole the whole day. Get to my last run. And I hit the hole and ripped the fucking tire. It was a big old hole like this big. You know how them Metro tires are humongous and thick. You got to do some real damage to fuck a tire like that up. That rod was sticking out, and I hit the rod and felt the back of the tire, because it was the back of the bus. Because I was driving one of those buses with the like accordion part in the inside, like, you know, it got the 2, it's called a double, I think it's called a double back or something like that, but it got the front and then the back, and then in between it got like the accordion. If I find a picture, I'm gonna post it so y'all can see what I'm talking about, for people who don't understand or know what I'm talking about. If you don't ride buses or seen it or pay attention or whatever, I'm gonna show you a picture. Okay, the back of the bus tire hit that hole, fucked the tire up. I just pulled out from the transit center and made the turn and hit that fucking hole. Talk about scared. First, I was scared because I didn't know if they were gonna fire me because I was in my 90-day probation. So I'm like, they probably gonna let my ass go, and then I'm gonna be fucked because I already left my other job that I was making, you know, working at the shop, the boutique. I had left that job already. I put my 2-week notice in, left that job, and I had bills. I was living on my own. I had my own apartment. I had a townhouse at the time. I had a car. You know, I was 22. I was doing a whole lot of shit. Like, I had my own, like, I was real independent. I ain't want to, you know, like, so I was just like, oh, they gonna let me go. They gonna fire me and I ain't gonna have no fucking job. I got shit to pay, like bills. This is a good job. I was getting paid like 17 something an hour, and I was getting paid every Friday. So in 2005, that's a lot, especially for a 22-year-old. That's a lot of money. That's a lot. And then like everything, the cost of living, everything was low. So I hit the hole. The guy who does the route, he was just like, oh, it's okay. He trying to like console me and shit. He was like, it's okay. You're going to be okay. We just got to wait for a supervisor to come, whatever. So supervisor come, they do all the stuff. People on the bus mad. They got to take incident reports from them because they got to make sure ain't nobody hurt, because I hit the hole or whatever. So the next day I come to work, right? And they put me in the office. And I always feel like when you got to go to like your boss's office, it's like you going to the principal office. I don't know. That's just the vibe I get. So they put me in the office, right? And he's just like, why did you hit the hole? How did it happen? How did you avoided it all those other times, and then all of a sudden you just hit it? And I told him, this is exactly what happened, because I didn't tell y'all what happened. As I was pulling out of the transit center, it was so many cars on the other side. So the road is a 2 street. So it's 2 going this way and 2 going the opposite way. When you pull out of the thing, like I told you, I'm driving a double back. The double back will follow wherever the front goes. The double back will follow that part. I swung out to avoid the hole like I did all the other times. I swung out. When I swung out, it was a car on the other side. The guy who was on the bus with me, who does the route, he didn't say like, hey, stay right here. All those cars on the other side are going to move out your way because you can't go anywhere. You're blocking traffic. So they're going to move out your way. Just stay right here. He didn't say that to me. My supervisor told me that. My supervisor was like, you should have just stayed where you was. Let all the cars on the other side, because when I swung out, I was kind of like, it's a left turning lane, right? My front of my bus was like in that lane. So I couldn't do anything. So I was trying to turn the wheel hard so that I could swing around the car and go into the lanes that I need to be in. I should have just stayed where I was and let that car turn or go back up his car, and then I would have been able to turn out and I wouldn't have hit the hole like I didn't do all the other times, but I didn't do that. So I hit the hole. He told me you should have stayed right there. He was like, you know, we have a 0 tolerance, but he was like, this is your first incident. He was like, I'm gonna let you make this, but he was like, don't have any more incidents within your 90 days, because he was like, we're gonna have to let you go if you do. So I already knew. I'm like, fuck. Okay. I'm like, I ain't gonna have no more incidents. I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna be good. Child. Let me tell y'all. All right. This day, I'll never forget. I'll never forget this shit, because this shit had me. If you ever been a person who ever was in like a depression state or something like that, this triggered my depression. I'm not a person that had this is the only time like I've been in a dark place in my life. And I had stuff happening to me up until this point. Like I had stuff happening to me, but this triggered something in me that made me who I am today. So, and I'll get into a story time about that in another time, but because I don't really want to talk about that, because that's a dark thing. I don't want to go down that road with y'all right now, but just know that this is what triggered me to go into that state that had me fucked up. Like I was really like in a bad place. So, and I was young too. I didn't know how to like handle that type of stress, and even with your family like talking to you and telling you things like that, like sometimes that don't work. Sometimes you got to go through the motions and then build yourself back up, build your confidence back up, and then like just. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about that in another story time with y'all. Okay, so this day I was picking up, and I had to drive on the freeway. On this particular route, I had to be on the freeway. Okay, I picked the people up, and this is in the Memorial area. If you from Houston, you know what I'm talking about, the Memorial City area. This was right before Gessner, when you get on the ramp from Memorial City Mall. If you from Houston, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, just disregard what I'm saying. Anyway, I was getting on the freeway, right? I'm getting on the freeway. As I'm getting onto the ramp to get on the freeway, this little car darted and got in front of my bus and slammed on the brakes. I swear, slammed on the brakes. I slammed so hard because I would have hit him. I don't know why he did that. I don't know if he wanted me to hit him. I don't know, because as a person that drives vehicle, trucks, buses, all that shit, like, people do that. Like, they will get in front of buses, trucks, anything that's a large vehicle, and they will slam on their brakes because they want to hit you to get a lawsuit or whatever. People be sick out here. Like, that's your fucking life. This is a big vehicle that I can run your shit over and you will not make it. But they don't think about that. They just think about trying to get some money. I won't say that that's what he was doing, but at the same time, I don't know what he was doing, because I slammed so hard on the motherfucking brakes, y'all. I slammed so hard on the fucking brakes that everybody that was in the front, if you've been on a bus before, you know buses, they don't sit forward in the front part, the very front of the bus, like where the bus driver is, those first few rows of seats, maybe like 4 seats, they're sitting sideways like this. So those people in those seats and the people that were sitting in the first seats that's facing this way, like where I'm facing y'all, all those people slid out their seats to the front, to where the little, where you pay at, where the steps are. Everybody slid up there. I slammed that hard that they flew out their fucking seats. I already knew it was over. I had to stop the bus, get off the freeway, stop the bus. The guy who was with me, this is another guy, this is another person, this is his route. He's like, okay, let me tell y'all something. See, if it was me and I was the one and the person, I'm training the person to go for the route or whatever, I would have not even said nothing. I would have just been like, is everybody okay? I would have asked everybody they cool, everybody fine. Everybody said they cool, because everybody said that. Everybody was like, they was fine. Everybody was fine. They was good. They was fine. Nobody was tripping. Everybody was good. And I would have continued on the route, and I wouldn't have said shit. He was like, we gotta tell them, we gotta tell the supervisor, we gotta do this, we gotta do that, because everybody flew out their seats, whatever. And I understand, I get it. Because somebody could definitely complain. Somebody could have said, the bus slammed on the brakes later on, I got hurt or whatever. Even though they said they was fine, they could have still came back and said something. Then it would have been like some shit with Metro or whatever. I get it. But being me, I would have been like, everybody cool. Because I know if I'm in there, they ain't gonna fire me. I'm looking out for you. You good? Like, everything good? Like, that happens sometimes, just be vigilant. Look out your mirrors, whatever. I would have been like that. Even though the person darted in front of me and slammed on the brakes and everybody flew to the front or whatever. Okay, so we pull over, call the supervisor, Metro police come, everything come, everybody come. Well, same old shit like last time. I can't drive. I have to stop driving. I end up having to go home. It was that bad. Like, I had to go home and everything. Like, they took me, like the supervisor took me, and I had to get off the route or whatever. And it wasn't even my fault. I didn't even do nothing. So I just slammed on the brakes because the person slammed on their brakes. So whatever. Okay. Go to work the next day. Supervisor put me in the office. He asked me the same thing. What happened? Whatever. I tell him, the person jumped in front of me, slammed on the brakes. He was like, what you could have, their thing, what they always say is that is you can avoid that stuff from happening. And I'm like, I couldn't avoid it because I'm already on the ramp, and he he went over the lines to get in front of me. He didn't stay behind me. He got over on the lines, the little white lines, not the straight line, like the lines, like the triangle lines. I'm gonna leave a picture. If I can find a picture, I'll show y'all what I'm talking about. But he did that. He went over them lines and he darted in front of me. He didn't want to be behind me. So there's no way to avoid that. I can't go swerve or anything. Like, he slammed on the brakes and there's no way to avoid it. But I could have probably not slammed on my brakes. But then again, how I'm gonna stop it? How I'm gonna stop the vehicle? So, like, there was nothing I could really do. I just had to stop. So he was just like, well, you've already had an incident before. Oh, let me tell y'all. You know when I told y'all I popped that fucking tire? These people so dirty, dog. They so dirty. They took my tire and they displayed the tire in the break room and was like, this is what you don't do. This is the things you don't do. And the tire that I popped, it had a big ass hole in it, like this big. They had on display. I was so embarrassed. Because one thing about working at places like this, like if you work in a place with a whole lot of people talk, people gonna say something, people gonna run their mouth or whatever. So 9 times out of 10, they all knew it was a trainee that did it. And 9 times out of 10, they knew it was me. So it was embarrassing. I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed because that tire was sitting on display out there in the freaking break room or whatever. So he tells me in the office, he's just like, yeah, you had some incidents before. And he was like, you could have avoided that incident. That was an incident that you can avoid. He's like, we have a 0 tolerance for accidents or whatever. So he was like, I hate to do this, but he's like, we got to let you go. And I could not control myself. Like I told y'all, I'm a Scorpio. Like, I'm emotional, especially when it's things that I care about, things that I'm passionate about, things that I love. And that could be a person, place, anything. Like if I'm really into that stuff or into the person or whatever, like it hurt me, it hurt my feelings, and it kind of messed me up for a while. So I was just thinking like, okay, I got to figure out what I'm going to do because I need a job. But I started crying. I was crying. I was upset. I was like, is there anything else I can do? He's like, no, you can't do it. He's like, you can't even apply back for the job for so much. I don't know how much time it was, but he was like, you got to wait so much time before you can apply back. And I was like, I think it was like a year. Like, he's like, you got to wait a year and then you can apply back. So I would have had to wait till the following July because I got the job in July. I got fired from my job 2 weeks before Christmas. 2 weeks before Christmas. That's when I got let go, like fired, because I had them incidents or whatever. So I was just hurt. I was upset. I was mad. I was so upset. And I tried to find a job. That was the worst time to try to find a job because it was like the holiday season. And it was like it was 2 weeks before Christmas. Nobody was really hiring then. Nobody was hiring. So I tried to find a job. I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a job nowhere. And I didn't have a job until May of the following year. That's when I got a job. So for 6 months, I didn't have a job. And it triggered something in me, a depression. And I'll talk about that in another video. But I was so fucked up behind that shit. But it definitely taught me like driving, because I was driving and that was my first, like I went from driving a car to driving a big ass bus. Like I never drove nothing as big as like a Blazer. That's the biggest vehicle I drove. So it was difficult. So and I was driving good. It's just certain things was happening and I couldn't avoid it, and it just was like it wasn't in my destiny to be doing that. So that's why I take it now. Like I took it that years ago, like years, not just now, but like as time progressed and things went on, and I started getting other jobs, because every job after that I was getting paid way more than that. Like every job I was getting more and more and more until the job I got right now, which is my best paying job, driving. So, but that shit had me like fucked up. Like And then going forward, like I would always use my mirrors. Like I think that's what another thing was. I didn't use my mirrors. Like they would always say like use your mirrors, but I was like, oh, I'm looking through the mirror, but I'm not really using my mirrors. Like now I use them in circumstances. Now I pay attention to everything that's going on around me, all around my truck, all around whatever, whenever I'm driving. So but yeah, that shit was so fucked up, man. I was so sad. I was like, I just left a job for boy, when I tell y'all about that story, I'm gonna have to tell y'all that story about that, why I had to leave that job, because I was doing shit. I'm gonna tell y'all this. The reason why I really think I got fired, if you don't believe in this, I do. I'm heavy on karma. I believe that I lost that job because of karma. I was doing shit that I was not supposed to be doing at my other job. And I went and left that job before I could get caught with what I was doing. And I got this job, and this job was paying me really well. And karma was like, no, you not finna, no, we ain't gonna let you eat good. No, you finna see, we finna sit your ass down somewhere, and you finna learn this lesson. And I did learn a lesson, which I will, like I said, I will tell y'all in another story. But yeah, it was karma. That's why. And I learned my lesson, and I don't fuck around and play like that no more. I try to put out good karma so that I can get good shit back. And I make it my mission to do that. I try to give positive vibe energy all to whatever I put my all into. Whatever I do, I try to do it the righteous way. I don't try to do shit, cut corners or do anything. Like I try to do everything like by the way that it should be done, or I don't try to get one up on nobody, none of that shit, because I feel like that's what had me going through what I went through. And I'll tell y'all, like I said, in another time. But yeah, that's probably why I lost that job, because my ass motherfucking couldn't drive. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was not paying attention. I wasn't listening and absorbing. I was just looking at the fact that I was going to make a lot of money. And that was my whole thing. Because like I said, I was working from July to December. So I was getting money. It's just, it just wasn't in the cards for me. So, but yeah. So if you like the story and you want to hear more stories from me, and you like my everything, like my energy, my vibe, my whatever, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this story time. Let me know if you new here, you a new subscriber, where you came from. If you came from one of my other story times, whatever. Let me know. If you took a shot with me, let me know. If you just loving all of this Joelaunda energy, let me know. And I'll see you guys in my next upload. Bye.